Hey, welcome to the Nameless Heed PR video series that we are starting as of 8 seconds ago. My name is David Martin.
I'm Natalie.
And together and there's Junior right there.
Our happy coworker. I'm sure you'll
tail.
hear him walking around in the background.
Yeah, here he is right here, Junior. Anyway, obviously the past few weeks have been crazy. We've been working nonstop with our clients from various industries, helping them do everything they can to navigate the ever-shifting landscape underneath their feet. We have some clients that has totally changed everything about their communications and their business models, and we have some where the landscape is changing daily, sometimes multiple times a day based on regulations and new rules coming out. And so we've been having to work with them a bunch to make sure that they're able to communicate with their core audiences about what this all means to them. So we thought that we would share, just really quickly, 3 things that we think might be helpful to businesses right now that they can be working on now that we're kind of back to square one. You've probably heard the old phrase, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's very true here. I mean, if you think back to the end of 2019, when we were all, putting nice tidy bows on our production or content calendars for 2020, obviously all that stuff has kind of been thrown out the door, the window, and we're kind of trying to figure out what to do now.
Yeah.
So we thought we would share that with you.
You want to make sure you're not shutting down right now. That's the worst thing that you could do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what our goal is today, is to kind of help fit that narrative of the COVID-19.
Yeah, because it's going to be temporary. And if there's anything I've learned from working with businesses on their marketing plans in 2008 and 2009, it's that you never want to go fully dark. At some point, things are going to shift back in our favor. And you don't want to have your lights off at that moment. So even if you're scaling it back and you only have limited capacity to do things, you definitely don't want to go full dark right now.
Because it's kind of human nature for people to fill in the gaps. So if they're not hearing what's going on, they're going to make assumptions themselves, and you want to make sure you're kind of staying in front of that.
Absolutely, because this is temporary. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to get there, and we want to make sure that when you're there, we're not starting from scratch all over again.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start with the 3 things, or do I start with
You go for it.
All right. So, the first of the 3 items here, one, there's another saying out there, and if you've ever spent time with me, you have probably heard me say this ad nauseum. It's that it is easier to join a conversation than to start a new one.
I've never heard you say that before.
Never, I know, never.
At least once a day.
Yeah, right. But it's true. And so right now, obviously, everybody is focused on COVID-19 and what it means to us, to them, to everybody.
Yeah, we've even talked with a few local media outlets that are saying, nothing but COVID matters right now. If you can't fit the narrative, there's not room
there's
for
nothing
anything.
that's been more comprehensively impactful across all of society than this that I can ever remember. So another good example is every day we go on Harrow, help a reporter out to see if there's any reporters out there who have queries or needs that some of our clients might be able to help with. And if you go in there right now, the vast majority of the queries in there, and there are loads of them, there's actually more than I've ever seen, but the vast majority are tied to COVID. So if you've got something that either doesn't fit or you haven't taken the time to figure out how it fits, whether it's a product, a service, an announcement, whatever, into this landscape in a way that makes sense, you probably want to hold off because it has to be relevant. But that doesn't mean that you just clam up. There might be ways that you can introduce it. I mean, we have an accounting client, a great CPA firm here in Chattanooga called Market Street Partners. And obviously with all of the IRS stuff that's been rolling out, the small business loans that are now available and things like that, they really have an opportunity to shine for people as a provider of information to help clear up the muddy waters that we've got right now. And they're doing a really good job of creating content for their website, sending it out via email, social media, reaching out to local media and the Chamber of Commerce saying, hey, we'd love to be a resource to help explore these things with your audiences.
Yeah, and I think you really hit the nail on the head there with one piece of what you said, the clearing up muddy waters.
Yeah.
Right now, there's so much information. It is overwhelming. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. And so if you can take a moment to position yourself as that trusted resource for people, that's huge. People are looking for someone to make it make sense, especially like you mentioned, Market Street Partners with the tax stuff. I mean, that there was one day when there were changes multiple times in one day, and working to get that message out there, make it really concise, was really beneficial for them.
Absolutely. And we've got another client, Workhound. They work with trucking companies to help create ways for truckers who are dispersed workers out there and the backbone of the supply chain right now that we're all depending on. They've historically worked with the trucking companies so that the truckers can communicate with management about what their wants and needs are, so management can act appropriately on those messages in an effort to retain those workers. And they're able to sift through tons of data. There's over 30,000 truckers across America on the Workhound platform. And so they're able now to start harvesting data about truckers out there and what their feelings are related to coronavirus and their safety and what it means for them and their paycheck and workloads and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of reporters out there who are very interested in supply chain. And so that some of the data that Workhound has been able to pull from their platform to help with this is actually, helpful to reporters as they're trying to explain to their audiences what this means to them. So I'll stop there, but I think those are two pretty good examples of like what we can be working on to kind of insert ourselves in a relevant way. You don't want to be cheesy. I saw some reporters on Twitter the other day knocking a PR group that reached out trying to pitch COVID cuisine at home, like how to cook at home. And they kind of hammed it up, and it didn't have the right.
It can't be disingenuous. It's got to be authentic, and even so. Those two examples that you gave were very specific to what's happening right now with COVID, but we've even had clients who are kind of working on a bit of a cause marketing effort. Text Request, for example, they release their platform for free to restaurants. So Text Request is a business texting platform that allows customers and businesses to text one another. And they saw a need here in our local community for restaurants to be able to accept orders now that they can't have people dining in their restaurants. So that was a way for them to give back and kind of get the word out about what they're doing at the same time.
Because dine-in or delivery and curbside service are new business models for a lot of restaurants who want to be able to keep the lights on. And Text Request, a company that's proudly built in Chattanooga, they want other businesses built in Chattanooga to be here when all this fog clears. So I mean that's a great opportunity there, and probably something we can talk about on another video about really getting into what cause marketing looks like and how it can be beneficial at this point.
Just wanted to add that one in, since some people may not have data about COVID-19, but there are still ways that you can kind of fit into what the needs are right now. So then the second thing we have in our list here is to find new ways to engage your audience. So just as everything has been changing for local businesses, things have been changing for the ways that they can actually get in front of their people. So one example that we saw popping up all over the place is people are taking information online. They're taking, yoga classes and I've seen artists hosting art classes for people who are bored with their kids.
We're starting German classes next Monday.
We are. We're very excited about that. Hopefully,
pray for Natalie.
Hopefully we'll be able to actually go to Germany in September. But one of our clients, Grassroots Health, had a few educational classes planned in the coming weeks. And rather than just canceling those, she's taking her classes online. And really, I'm excited about that for them, because I think that might present new opportunities for them just down the road, even once this is all over with, to educate and connect with people who may not want to come into the store or get out. They can do the classes online.
Absolutely, so, like I saw Simpa Community Care, they've got it's unfortunate, it's their 25th anniversary of their signature awareness raiser, Strides of March. And Simpa started out as Chattanooga Cares to help combat the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and 90s, and they have since grown their footprint and their service offerings. But this was the 25th anniversary, but they're still going to take it online. They're still going to be able, through Facebook Live, to engage their audiences. They're able to raise money and stuff like that. Yeah. They've even been they have neighborhood workout jam sessions that they normally do around Chattanooga, where they have hundreds of people come, and there's a really great workout leader who gets everybody up and going, and they've got a DJ. Well, they've taken that online as well, and Saturday morning they had one on, and I tuned into it, and they had like 150 viewers on Facebook Live engaged. There's probably more people than would have been in the gym itself. Yeah. So if you brew beer, show us how you brew beer. If you're a restaurant and you've got a loyal following and you've got some staple recipes, like show us how you cook those now. And so like I can't wait to get back to the restaurant and eat that if I can't get it curbside. So again, going back to 2008, we didn't really have the options there. Social media was just blossoming at that point. And so like when the economic downturn happened at that point, people really had a much fewer opportunities to engage their audience. But one of the great things about social media is now we can take that, it's democratized, and we can take it all online. And
it doesn't have to be complicated or complex. You can just do Instagram stories, quick videos. Don't feel like you have to make the most elaborate and fancy video there ever was. Just connect with people. Just show them what you're doing. I mean, people are on their devices. They're bored. They're looking for information. And if you can be feeding that to them, that's a great way to stay in front of your audience. Yeah,
you always want to be where your audience's eyeballs are, and everybody is glued to this right now. So be there. All right, so, and the last one, okay. This is a very just succinct, short one here. It is, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? We still need to be thinking about planning. This is a temporary moment. This is not going to be the norm. I'm convinced of that. I think most people are. Yeah. You don't have to be an optimist like me to believe in that. So at some point, the fog is going to clear, the ice is going to thaw, and we're going to be able to go back to business as usual or something very close to it. And you don't want to wait until the first day to say, oh gosh, what should I be doing now? You want to be able to plan as best you can for what you want to be focusing on when we're able to get back to business as usual. Because if you wait until that day, you're already going to be behind. So revisit those plans from last year, square them up with the lay of the land now, cast an eye forward to what you want to be focusing on, again, when everything changes again to the better, and go ahead and start making those plans now. So here we are, the end of video
number 1.
Uno.
Of many, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. We should do this when we're not confined in the house.
Yeah, we'll plan to do it in the future.
Yeah. So you'll be hearing back from us soon about more communications related ideas. And until then, stay safe.